me. Pick it up and you don't quit like that. You'll pop some more shit. So just sit back and not sit back.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Kim.
And today we're gonna get it done.
Today we're gonna learn how to cut your prints properly with the two different roll trimmers that we have. Smaller one, the bigger one, and the third way of doing, which is cutting with your X-acto knife, the ruler.
Let's get started.
So we've got Rota-Trimmer over here, which is great for smaller prints, somewhere between 4x5 till say 16x20. I wouldn't go any bigger than 17x22.
That's probably a good idea. Let's see how we use it.
Well, you can use this ruler over here. Sorry, ruler over here, but it's not as precise as it can be. So I would rather use the grid systems over here printed on our trimmer. So let's say this looks good.
Is it lined up?
I think so.
Okay, so we're just gonna apply some serious pressure to each edge, and then we're gonna quickly cut with confidence.
Yeah.
How's that look?
Ah, nice and even.
Nice.
I've got a big mural print over here. Kind of big.
Looks like you could use some help, Kim.
Quite big.
When cutting a mural print, it helps to have a friend. So let's lay this guy down on here. And the first thing you want to do is, this is a self-sharpening cutter. So you're going to want to go ahead and sharpen it. Show them how to sharpen it. But don't get too carried away. And then let's make sure that you dock the cutting head all the way to the left or the right. That will allow the print gate to be moved up and down. So we're going to go ahead and move it in the up position and slide our print through. This will help ensure that we don't scratch our print, because once you scratch it, you buy it.
You already bought it, but...
Well, right, we're not going to reprint it. So there's a couple of ways that you can line this up. We're going to show you some more precise ways, but this is a pretty rough cut for us, so we're just going to use one of these grooves to line it up. Are you lined up on that side? Okay. And then you're going to go ahead and hold down the gate, and in one fluid motion, you're going to cut. All right, move your fingers away. We're going to make sure we're up on the silver part, not down here. It'll bruise our fingers. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's that easy. Alright, so now we're going to show you how to make some corner crop marks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my file ready to print. So I'm going to go into the layers and go ahead and flatten it. So what I want to do next is then I want to go in and make sure that I've made a canvas size that is the size that I want my final print to be. So I'm going to go into canvas size, that's under image, and I'm going to enter in whatever my frame is. So let's say I've got a 17 by 14-inch frame. Great, I want to make sure that my canvas extension is white. That's super, super important. Okay, now look, it just made this border. That's great. Now the only problem with this is that you're not going to necessarily know where to cut. So when I go into the print dialog box, I'm going to make sure all of my color management settings are correct. Make sure my print setting size is fine. So I've got a piece of 17 by 22 paper that I'm going to cut down. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. I'm going to say save. Great. Now I've made sure all my color management looks good. So what I'm going to do is, under the color management drop down tab, I'm going to go into output. And there's all sorts of different things we can add in output. But what I'm concerned about is the corner crop marks. Great. You can also put center crop marks, labels, file name, all that stuff. but I'm just going to do corner crop marks. And then I can go ahead and print, and my print's going to come out with crop marks on it. Very, very exciting. Okay, so now we're ready to cut our big print with a ruler and an X-acto knife.
All right.
So I showed you guys how to make those crop marks, and here they are. Nice. Yeah.
Nice job.
Thanks. So what I'm going to want to make sure I do first is start with a sharp, fresh X-acto blade. So I'm going to insert that like so. And I'm going to lay my print. I tried to flatten it a little bit. I got some of the kinks out of it, but we flattened the print. And what we're going to use next is this glycine. And this is a really important part because this is going to help us make the most precise cut possible. Okay, so I've used the roll trimmer once again to cut off some glycine. And what I want to make sure is that my glycine is bigger than my print, but not necessarily bigger than my ruler. So I'm going to actually just cut this down a little bit right here. And the reason I want to use glycine is I want to protect my awesome print from all of the nastiness of the underside of this ruler. It's pretty gross. Long. So I'm going to start with one of my long edges first. So the cool thing about glycine is that I can see all of my crop marks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that down here. Kim, can you hold that sign for a second? Great. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down my ruler. Now I want to lay down my ruler facing outside of the print. If I put it inside of the print and I go off kilter, and I can cut right into this guy's face, and that's no good.
That's bad luck.
That is bad luck. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line up my crop mark here. Kim, can you line up the crop mark down there for me? You set? Great. Now you'll notice, now that my glycine is smaller than my ruler, all the grippy, awesome stuff on my ruler can hold down the print on each side. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some pressure in the middle, and I'm going to confidently take my X-acto knife, and I'm going to start inside of the print. I don't want to cut this whole edge off, because if I do, I'll cut off my other crop mark. So what I want to do is I want to cut this so that I'll have like a border at the end. You'll see. I'm going to start inside of my print. So now what I'm going to do is I've got my glycine that I've cut through. I'm going to go ahead and tear that off. And you can see I haven't cut all the way to the end of my print because I don't want to cut off my crop marks. You can see we've got the frame with our crop marks. And now we've got a print that's ready for matting or framing. Awesome. Well, I'm Justin.
And I'm Kim.
And that's how you
Get it done.